update. I don't do any editing on the videos. I've got too many things to do. So, as I showed you in the previous video, I took off the drain line from the return line, rather, which I've drained from the bottom of the power steering pump, and I blew air into the rubber hose, which is down there, and nothing came out of anywhere. So I guess it's not getting through the hydro boosts. So what I did was took off this line using a 5/8 flare nut. If these vehicles went to metric in the late 70s, why do they still use SAE on the flare nuts, on the nuts that use a flare wrench? Go figure. Anyhow, so I took that off, and that line is over there. And my air hose is right at the end of its useful life. It just barely reaches. So what I did was I put air pressure into that line, which goes somewhere, goes to the power steering gearbox, and some oil was spewing out of the return line that normally goes to the power steering pump to replenish it once the oil's done its pressurized thing. So let me see if I can show you this. It's a tight squeeze. Right there. Oh, come on. You need 3 hands to do this. You put air in, and oil comes out over there. Well, I got it. So I've got nothing bad to say about this product. And my buddy Spiked Punk was saying, be careful. Stop leak for air conditioners, and stop leak for transmissions and engine oil leaks, because you can over swell your seals and then you can't stop it. I've got my BMW V12 750iL sitting in there with a bad starter, and I put some motor Molly Slip. I put some Molly Slip products. I think they're from Germany. And I put some of that stuff in the motor because my oil pan was leaking like crazy. Now the V12 BMW is like the 6 cylinders, of which the V12 is 2 6 cylinders. I'm gonna turn this air leak off. Stop my compressor from running as well. Have this toolbox for how long? Oh, give me a second. Had this toolbox for 30 years. Hard to believe, huh? All made in USA, even the vice grips with the roll pin, not the rivet. That's how you tell if it's made in China or Nebraska. Peterson Manufacturing. Yep, made in China now. Anyhow, so where was I? I forgot what I was talking to you about. Oh, the swelling of the seals. And hang on a second, I lost my train of thought. Well, it must be early onset Alzheimer's, because I can't remember. I've been pausing for a couple of minutes trying to think of what I was just talking about. I can't remember. Oh, I get distracted. That's terrible. My buddy Nick is coming from the deep south, and we're going to do a little bit of work on this truck because the check engine light's been on forever. And we're going to pull the intake and change the knock sensors. There's 2 of them that fail. We're going to change the crank position sensor and the cam position sensor, and maybe 1 oxygen sensor is bad because I want to get the check engine light off. And how many miles have I got on the oil? I am trying to remember what I was talking about. You're going to remind me, but I can't play back the video without stopping it. I changed the oil about 4,000 miles ago, and that was exactly a year and a month ago. And it burns some oil. I'm always adding oil. Doesn't look too bad, but 270,000 miles on this old 6-liter. What's the transmission oil look like? It's an unrebuilt 4L80E, and I changed the oil on it last year. I was going to pull it a couple years ago, actually. Not too bad. So it's been about a third refilled with fresh oil. There's an oil pump in the transfer case, and there's a tang that stops the pump from rubbing through the case. And the tang breaks and it rubs through the case. So when I can get to my buddy Spike Punk, I'll do that. And I had a failure here a couple years ago in New Jersey. One of these heater lines broke. I guess they last 15 years. Look at that, just mush. So I got a couple from a truck, which doesn't have the rear heater, but then the heater hoses aren't long enough, so I got them tied off the EGR tube, and still a little close. Too bad they don't make a Dorman our famous Chinese auto parts supplier doesn't make a longer version, so you get an extra inch, so you're not so tight. This is supposed to clamp onto a bracket that sits over here on the coil pack bracket, but right there. But I had to take it off because I got to pull these hoses away, and I still don't remember what I was talking about. That's terrible. So I think I got my oil drained well enough. I'm going to refill it, put the line back on there, the return line and the pressure line. I'll put that back on, and I'll enjoy watching the few videos that I do watch. And I suppose everybody's watching the election results right now. I'm not going to talk politics because you're all my friends, and there's no better way to make enemies than to talk politics. So we'll just keep it kid-friendly and politic-free. And put this thing back together. And as soon as I play the video back, I'll remember what I was talking about when I looked at my toolbox with my Made in USA Craftsman. Yep, you can buy them on eBay now. They're getting more and more expensive. These ratchets used to be 20, 25 bucks, or the same price on eBay, and I've bought a bunch of them over the years. Yep, things change. Sears closes down and Amazon rules the world. Yep. Oh, I heard something on the radio. Listen to this. If Jeff Bezos, the founder and head honcho of Amazon, if he gave every one of his approximately 1 million employees, 900,000, 800,000, 1 million employees, if he gave every single one of his employees, every executive, every worker in the factories, that he employs, if he gave them all $100,000, 1 million employees, if he gave them all 100,000, if you can believe the news, he'd be back, his wealth would return back to where it was March 15th when the pandemic more or less started. That's how much money he has. If he gave every one of his almost 1 million employees $100,000, if it's accurate, he'd be back to where he was March 15th, which is what, 8 months ago? That's... And everybody buys on Amazon, including me. How's that? For lots of money.